Candyman.
No!
Candyman!
A lot of black people gonna be doing this. Girl, quit playing! Double Toasted Live in New York is right around the corner, Friday, September 10th, and there are less than 100 tickets left. But I want you to join me for a night of comedy and games, and I want you to get your tickets now before it sells out. So go to doubletoasted.com or go to x1entertainment.com/double-toasted-Brooklyn, and we'll see you there. Hey everyone, support our Patreon, which helps us to continue bringing you our live streams, videos, and podcasts while bringing you new content such as exclusive live streams and animated shorts. Now, we are talking about this new Candyman movie right here. And in this Candyman 2021, he actually hands out candy to people, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, for once, he lives up to his name. So he's probably buying his candy on bulk or in bulk online. And I'm going to save him some money right now. You know, that's the thing. Maybe somebody just needs to show him a kindness. I'm about to do that. Maybe he needs to get on honey. How appropriate for Candyman.
I know.
The man covered in bees.
I saw that too. You're doing that for honey. Yeah. We were talking about Candyman.
Yeah, that man would like to put them bees on people. What a perfect thing for him to go to honey over here. The only thing about me shopping online is that I see all these little boxes for coupon codes. I ain't never had a coupon code in my life. I don't even know what that box, I didn't know what that box was for until honey came along. And now I can be just like the rest of the world. Have myself a coupon code, put it in there, and save some money on some items I want to get.
Getting them savings.
Getting them savings, man. You go to your favorite website that you like to buy stuff from. Now this is the honey website right here, but just act like it's one of your favorite websites out there. And the way it works is you go there and you're getting ready to buy something, and once you get honey installed on your browser, as you're about to go check out, there'll be a little tab that shows up, and then you pull it open and it says, hey, you know what? If you use this coupon code, you can save this much on this item right here. The cool thing about honey is that even if you haven't found a deal yet, as you're about to go buy something, honey will pop up and say, wait, hold on, wait a minute. These fools, man, they charging you too much. I done seen what they were doing. I saw what it was before. Man, they trying to pull one over on you. See, like right here, I was about to buy some HDMI cords, and it told me that, hey, look, let us let you know when the price drops on that, drop list it, and we'll get in touch whenever you can get this at 5%, 10%, 15% lower. And I want to pass those savings on to you, just as I'm about to get those savings myself. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to joinhoney.com/toasted. Again, that is joinhoney.com/toasted. Save yourself some money while also supporting us, and let them know that Double Toasted sent you when you do it. Once again, this review that we're about to do has been sponsored and approved by Honey. And as always, I thank them and thank you for the support. Listen, we all know the story of the Candyman. You know, you go to the bathroom, say his name 5 times, then the pimp coat comes out and pimp slaps you in the worst way possible.
Jeez.
You ever pimp slap with a hook? Say his name 5 times. You'll find out. And no, I don't need your money. I got your money, man. I didn't ask you for that shit.
You called me here.
Yeah.
I was at home taking a bath.
But it turns out with this new Candyman, Candyman 2021, turns out that there is a lot more to the legend, the myth of the man, Candyman that is, than we knew before. But sometimes they say, hey man, you know, telling people too much takes the effect away.
It can.
You know, keep a mystery out there. You keep things scarier, spookier. So, and we always see that when we do more sequels. This is a direct sequel to Candyman 1992. And hey, is learning about Candyman making him even more threatening, more scary, or are they starting to tell too much where it's taken away from the effect of the story? Let's go ahead and see the trailer for Candyman 2021.
Black people don't need to be summoning.
Look, if nothing else about this movie, man, if you don't like anything else about that, that's some good ass advice. If you don't listen to nothing else about this movie, you don't like nothing about this movie, listen to that shit. Black people don't need to be summoning. And what you didn't listen to is the rest of it. Don't need to be summoning shit.
Yeah. I dare you.
Don't say that. Anthony? 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 Are you okay? What the hell is going on?
Like he didn't remember his name. He was like, Anthony.
That's not even in the movie.
I know.
Because I was waiting on that. Man,
It wasn't?
no,
yeah.
No, it's not. You know what? Because look, I'm sorry, y'all, but I know I'm supposed to be watching the movie for Candyman and for story, but the part I was looking for most in the movie was I was like, what is driving this Negro crazy? When you talk about this, you got to talk about the first Candyman. And I am going to talk about the first Candyman because I just saw it again last week, a few days ago, and I hadn't seen it since it first came out in 1992. That's a long ass time. So it was like watching it fresh again.
Sure.
I had forgotten so much. Now, I did admire it. I still didn't love it like a lot of people, but I really, really do like the movie, and I admire it for a lot. And the first Candyman, it's about not being able to ignore communities that are ignored, like the black communities more specifically. Black communities that are ignored due to things like income inequality, segregation by poverty lines.
Where did I? It ain't safe around here.
They ain't never gonna catch him.
Who? Candyman.
Now, this new one, while that old one had an agenda, we're gonna talk about poverty and the neglect and ignoring of black communities in this movie is like, nah, man, that's cool, but I'm bringing up all this old shit. I'm bringing up everything. I'm bringing up all. I'm counting cases on all the shit that America has done. This is the one where this movie here, it says, man, we are going to tackle all of America's history of racial injustice. I admire that, and just like the first movie, I admire what it's trying to do. But I will say that this movie, what I think the first movie does a little bit better than this one is that this movie, and you don't have to compare it to the first film, just as a movie on its own, I think it's just a little bit slow to start, and that's for many reasons. Now, I don't know how you felt about this, because there's some people who will probably think like, hey, it's kicking off in the right way, in the way it should. But I think that there are many reasons why this is slow to start, and one is that they take their time setting up characters. It's almost like the movie starts out to say they want to set up these characters because it's a very socially conscious film, and it's almost like they set up the movie to be like, now we want to show y'all that these are some fine, upstanding black people right here. These are some good black folks right here. These are in this movie. These are literally bougie black people, man.
Nah, I was gonna use that word.
These are straight up bougie black people. I mean, because what they do in this movie is, they work straight up with the bourgeois art community.
Yes. He is an artist, not like a graffiti artist, not like a graphic designer who goes to a job and makes money. He is one of those fine artists who does paintings that you go see and don't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to pay $20,000 for him. The
one that you stand in front of and act like you know what it's doing.
Yeah.
And you use words like interpretation.
Yes, it's transformative.
Yeah. Yes, a reflective interpretation of the problems of society, and then you'll get some wine and get drunk.
Yeah. You go to the cocktail bar. You heavily tip the bartender because they're gonna hook you up.
Stop lying. Your ass ain't there to buy no art. You don't understand the art. You there because somebody told you there's gonna be some free alcohol up there. It's mostly wine. Given that the history, so the history of black people and horror is something that we have pretty much helped to build up to what it is today. a group of people who have led for that genre to be as successful as it is. You know, we are a huge part of that. You know, given the history of black people in horror being victims, being, you know, comedy relief, being background, being sidekicks, you know, that's where the old joke of, you know, the black man is the first one to go in a horror movie, even if that horror movie is Jurassic Park, that kids can even go see.
First one to die.
Before the Jurassic Park even came up, that dinosaur ate that afro. And I'm talking about Candyman 2021. This is a movie and just another trend of black people taking ownership in horror. Like I said, a genre where we've given a big hand in making it successful. You know, and it's not just taking ownership of our own narratives, which is what this is. It's also pretty much coming in and demanding respect. Outside of the horror genre here, it's just saying, wow, okay, it's about time we start looking at black people as, you know what, not just artists, but are not hip hop artists, as you say, not graffiti artists, not athletes, not comedians, but just people, man. Yeah. So while you might say they're bougie black people, actually that's pretty normal, man.
Yeah, it is.
And like I said, it's very cool to see black people be black people, not talking slang, but still being cool. You know, not, you know, being professionals and not the professionals that make money through the normal means that we see, or what we expect them to do. Comedy and sports and rapping. And maybe every now and then you unbutton your shirt and do some R&B. Well, I tell you why I don't think it worked that well with setting up all the characters, because so much of this is in the art world setting. And it spends a lot of time talking art. I'm not even talking about setting up these characters as being upstanding people, upstanding black people. It spends a lot of time talking art with characters that I really don't care about or I can't stand. These pretentious art people type. Like every person in this movie, like I couldn't wait for Candyman to come in and kill these motherfuckers, man.
Well, what's your beef?
Well, the reason why is because I don't think they're stereotypes. They're all of these are the pretentious art people that you expect them to be. And I was like, I couldn't wait for Candyman to come in and kill these motherfuckers, man. Just, you know, splash the whole gallery with their blood, man, and make a sculpture out of their limbs. Because, well, I'll tell you why, because, you know, they're there to be, either they don't lend anything to the story at all, or they're there to be those snobbish art types. You know, the art critic who will talk, ooh, this woman right here, Rebecca Spence, they're the artists who came, you know, they look at your art and they're the artists to come over so they can talk shit to your face about it. You know, I looked at that and I'm like, all right, you know what? That's not so bad, but if they weren't stereotypes that we expect them to be, that would be better. Yahya Abdul-Mateen, he plays Anthony, who is exploring the legend of the Candyman. He's an artist, and he decides to go in and tackle social issues by doing art based on the Candyman, based on the story that we know about it, about the white woman that went in and asked too many questions about this and ended up snapping and possibly maybe being responsible for killing some people, including a baby, or trying to kill a baby. So his art is based on that. And he does a gallery show, and I love the way this art critic comes in and just to his face just spouts out all the art jargon, which is negative. And he even looks at her like, damn, bitch, you saying this right in front of me?
Hey, she was just looking at the piece. He came over like, so what do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, brother, you asked this. Yeah. What happens is on you.
Good thing I had some drinks in me because you suck. But, you know, what this reminded me of, and this is where I think that this might be a little tricky for some people out here. This reminded me of another movie that's out there. Let me see if I can find this here.
The one with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah.
I thought about that too.
Yeah, it's almost like a little bit of a slower version of this movie you might remember on Netflix. It was called Velvet Buzzsaw.
I'm quite curious to know what you think.
I think sober hasn't been good for him.
Never should have quit drinking.
And you know, this is something where I'm very curious about how this is going to play with mainstream audiences, being that it reminds me of that movie, and it also has all these art types talking about talking in the movie and taking up a lot of time in the beginning because it is a very, very it has almost like an art house feel to it in a way, or a very indie feel to it. But anyway, you about to say something?
Yeah. What I was going to say is that as much as I like having a lot of characters set up, I thought that for all their talk and all they were doing, the characters all kind of thin. Like even our main characters don't have the way they are. They kind of say everything that's on their mind. But when it came, especially when it came to the art world people, everybody in that, it reminded me of that Velvet Buzzsaw, which that movie is kind of a parody of those people.
Yeah.
And watching this, I was like, this is so cliche. It's bordering on parody. Matter of fact, some of it is comedy. I'm not sure if they want us to laugh at this or they're trying to make us angry at these people.
Yeah.
And especially with that critic where, you know, she comes off as being extra mean to him. The thing that struck me was that all the stuff she said to him about his art was true.
Yeah.
I was like looking like as much as he got bullied into like, I got to find a new thing, and he becomes the appropriator of something from the past. I was like, when he shows what he did with it, I was like, bro, that sucks. It was like you just threw that shit together.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, so she called him out on him. He's like, man, I was like, don't.
Yeah.
Try harder.
You know what? That's another thing with the art people in here. I just don't think they work. Well, you said it. I just don't think they work at characters. And one of the things that they did here in the movie is that they do try to use them in some parts for comedic effect, and that comedy does not work. It's when those characters come in, it's like watching two different movies.
Yeah.
There's one where you got this movie where it's taking these, and I think what it is too, again, they're taking their black characters a little bit more seriously, and when you are laughing at them, you're laughing at them saying natural things. They got some art critics coming in, they got some art curators coming in, and they are doing actual, you know, comedy. They're doing funny lines. They're saying things for a laugh. You know, they're saying things the victim says before they die.
Yeah.
You know, they almost do slasher things where, and this is what got me, like, damn, do we really need to bring this into this movie? Like, these are not teenagers. These are pretentious ass, they're pretentious, up and selfish and annoying ass art people, but they're still adults. They do this whole thing where, oh, you about to have sex, you got to die.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we ain't at fucking Camp Crystal Lake and shit, all right? We don't have to do that.
Plus, they almost crowbar in people saying Candyman 5 times.
Yeah.
It's like, there's really no reason for you to do this other than, oh, we just want to have a cool scene right here.
Yeah. And I'm not saying this because and maybe I'm just saying this because I'm not even trying to like go against what the movie's trying to achieve, but it does seem like let's set up the black characters to be a little more serious, a little more natural. Let's set up the white characters to be either somewhat villains might be the wrong word, but definitely the people that you don't like. Let's set them up as the people who die.
Yeah.
Let's set them up as the buffoons you laugh at.
Yeah.
You know, it was very clear along those lines, and that brings me to my third point of why I feel like this is kind of slowed down in the beginning. I feel like they try to they actually stop the movie to talk about the social issues here.
They do.
I ain't saying be so subtle that people got to guess and decipher it. Tell people straightforward. But it's just a better way to do it. I think they did here a little bit. I'll tell you what really works well, I thought, is the director, man. This girl here.
Nia DaCosta.
Nia DaCosta, man. Brilliant director. Brilliant director. If you ask me, she's going to be doing the next Captain Marvel movie, and I can't wait to see what she does with that, because what makes her brilliant to me is that she has a very visual approach to her direction. You know, we always talk about those directors where when they go in and direct, they try to treat every part of the film like it's a piece of art. You know, you can see it in the cinematography. The lighting is great in this. It's probably a little soft for a horror movie, but it works to make the supernatural feel a little more real, make it feel a little more tangible, I thought. The compositions of some of these shots, you know, I've used this analogy before too. It's like looking at photos.
Yeah, the compositions are fantastic. The
compositions in this are amazing. They're like looking at photos, and she makes sure that you look at them like a photo. She stops for a little while, and she takes, on some of her shots, she takes her time. And I love that, man. You know, I don't mind that. I don't mind that. You know, the choice to go in and narrate this with shadow puppets.
Police come around. That's when I saw the true face of fear.
Get on your knees.
You know, I I thought that was that shows some real artistry here. Doing that, it's because what they did was a very nice way. Because I understand, I get it, man. I always talk about exposition, but people are like, God damn, man, I only have an hour and a half. You know, what you want me to do? I got to tell something. I mean, I can't make no 3-hour movie explaining everything. So this is a great way to get around tired exposition, because that's what it is. It's exposition, but I feel like if you're going to do exposition, let's try to get more creative with it today. And this did that.
Sure. I forgot the artist who does the shadow puppets. She was already kind of doing stuff like that, and they decided to incorporate her work into the movie. And it's funny because narratively, you don't really need that popping in. Like, there's no explanation really for why it's always there. But it is a cool thing. It's probably the creepier part of the movie. And as a matter of fact, it's one of the reasons where if you see this movie, you will stick around for the credits at the end, because that's all. It tells more of the story just with those puppets.
Well, I understand why they kept doing it, because first they set up why it's there. You can see the movie why. They say this is why it is. And then after they did that, since you already know that that's a part of the story, they just used it to tell parts of the story. Mm-hmm. They just incorporated it in and made it part of the film.
Hey, it's better than just watching somebody look in the camera and talk.
Oh, yeah.
For all that time.
Somebody they having a beer and they're like, have you ever heard about it? I was like, oh man, I'm just having a beer. Shit. You know,
can I just finish this?
Yeah, can you make some shadow puppets or something to do this shit with? Every time we go have a beer, you explain this some shit. I did like the main characters. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. I like him because this is probably one of his most downplayed performances that I've seen. Maybe I haven't seen everything.
No, I would say it definitely is his most downplayed performance.
Yeah, you know what? He reminded me of people that I've hung out with. He reminded me of relatives, because he seemed so real in the movie, man. You know, since he downplayed it so much. I mean, listen, up until the Negro starts losing his shit.
Candyman isn't real.
I saw him.
Candyman isn't real, Anthony. Anthony.
Yeah, you might want to leave.
Yeah,
he is slowly keep walking walking towards you. Yeah.
This is a real Candyman.
No!
Candyman!
A lot of black people gonna be doing this. Girl, quit playing! Tiona Paris, she's look, I'll tell you, man, she doesn't really get a lot to do except react to him. Sometimes not fast enough. But there are moments when they are together and they have good couple moments, man, because again, just like with his performance, it reminds me of a real couple. It reminds me of people that I've seen.
In the beginning, yes.
Candyman.
Anthony, you better not do that.
Okay. Candyman.
You play too much.
Anybody who's ever had a black girlfriend, you've heard that once. Quit playing.
Sure.
You play too much.
Yeah, black people don't like to play.
No, they don't quit playing. I have a lot of favorite actors today. You know that. Every time I'm bringing up somebody, I say they're my favorite actors. Yahya Abdul-Mateen is becoming one of them. Mm-hmm. I really love him. And y'all know I'm in love with Domingo Coleman, man.
Domingo.
We Coleman's got to stick together so much I can't get his name right.
He doesn't even spell it the same way you do.
I think I actually, how's he spell it?
Colman.
Oh, him.
Oh, goodness.
No, he ain't no real Coleman. If you don't spell it my way, Coleman, no, to hell with you.
There's no E.
Yeah, Coleman Domingo, man. Yeah, I think he's really good in this.
He's good in everything.
Yeah, he's great in everything, so that's no question, man.
There's something about that guy, when he starts speaking, you cannot listen to anything else.
Well, that's because he got that nice jazz voice.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just the way he's just his physical presence.
Captivating.
And the way he kind of moves.
Yeah.
Like he just knows everything. He's this guy has it down. Like with that Walking Dead show, the minute he comes on, it's like, follow this guy.
Yep. No, I never thought that I would like this guy as much as I do, but after seeing him in about 3 things already, Coleman Domingo is, he's one of my favorite guys, and I'm so glad that you're not seeing everything of him in that trailer. There's a lot more to him that you will find out if you see the movie. He plays a big part in the film, and he gets a bigger role, and he's actually pretty brilliant in there. I love the way he even says Candyman. Candyman.
Oh, yeah. He's got a certain way of saying it. I will say I don't like where things go with him toward the end.
Because a lot of people don't know Coleman Domingo. he's gay in real life. And that got me thinking about the gay character here, Troy.
Oh yeah,
Nathan Stewart Jarrett. Nathan Stewart Jarrett.
Yeah, all these well, as we talked about the cliche characters before, we cannot leave him out.
But I loved him, man. And yes, he is kind of a cliche, but they balance things out here. Because for one, he's one of those. Not only is he gay, but he's one of those gay guys that just shit talks nonstop. Everything out his mouth is some smart ass.
He's somebody that if you were at a party with this guy, he'd have everybody laughing, but you would never leave because you knew the second you stepped out of the room, he would talk shit about you. And
the thing is, he does it with all the gay gestures too. Mm-hmm. Pretty much saying, you ain't shit. Yep. He even talks about Anthony like that. I told you Anthony wasn't shit.
He ain't got no job.
But they will go in and dig up your credit report and everything just so they can talk shit about you. They will dig up your files.
Yep.
I do love the character, though. The guy's a British actor, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah, I do like him a lot. I really like how they attempt to come in and tie in the legend. They attempt to come in and tie in the legend of the first Candyman. They try to expand on the legend of the first Candyman. As I said, for one... And Martin, I ain't gonna say nothing. I thought the same thing, but I didn't want to say nothing because I was like, yeah, why is he called Candyman?
Yeah.
And in this one he actually hands out candy. Because before I was like you, I did kind of wonder why they called him Candyman, and then I looked it up and they said, well, because of the honey, and I'm like, well, that ain't really candy, is it?
No, I thought that too. You know what? Something that you and Chris Herman didn't tell me, but there were Candyman sequels.
There's two of them.
Yeah, I had no idea. So today I watched the second one, though. It's the Flesh of the Candyman or something.
Yeah.
But they really do reenact his actual origin. Like, I never had a character had his origin retold so much. Even Batman and Spider-Man be like, God damn. But they act it all out, and they have that scene where they
saw his hand off.
The whole thing, having him down, sawing his hand off, all the people around him, and then pouring the honey on him. And them going like, Candyman. Yeah, Candyman. Candyman.
Was it not one person's like,
no.
What does candy have to do with this?
No.
I don't see no candy. Get your ass down there.
Yeah, just the fact that they covered him and they took the time to put honey on him made them just go like, Candy.
Why didn't they say honey man? Like, hello.
I know, right?
Yeah. Shit. Well, yeah, there ain't no candy in there. Sweet Dick Willie would have been better. They explain how his spirit carries on through time and through history. And I like the way they do that, man.
I do too.
I thought it was cool the way they say that, they try. I won't say too much, but they do try to address even more that, in a way, Candyman is actually one of our first social justice warrior heroes out there.
True.
He's the one that he's our first black Avenger in a way.
Yeah. And they do kind of stress that more with this movie than they did in the 1992 movie.
Yeah, man. The only thing that is weird about it is that, like I said, they don't tie up a lot of things. So some of these connections don't work. Some of these things are just they're just too much of a coincidence. Like the origin of Candyman when they explain it.
Helen and I was out here looking for Candyman.
What's Candyman?
For me, Candyman was a guy named Sherman Fields,
who wore a pimp coat and had a hook for a hand just like him before he even knew who the hell Candyman was.
Right.
It was like, all right, wait a minute. I mean, unless Candyman already had his eyes on him and saying, I like your style. I will tell you that this is a direct sequel to the first one, as I've mentioned this a couple of times. You already saw in the commercial, the trailer right here. Maybe you didn't know who this was, but that's Vanessa Williams from the first movie. That's all I'll say. So she is a direct tie to the first film.
She may have been my favorite character in the whole movie.
I thought she was very good. And I don't know how old she is, but she
I know.
Beautiful.
Exactly. I was like, how young was she in that first movie?
And
she came on, and I was like, oh, this must be the sister.
I won't say so much, but I'll just say, yeah, man. I don't know how old she is, but Vanessa Williams is gorgeous. But this is this is tied into the first movie. So I think they make so many references. In fact, they do a whole. Now, what is cool is if you have seen Candyman recently, or if you're a fan and you know it very well, one of the cool things they do is that they show how the legend of Candyman has changed over time by people just retelling it, and it's a lot of people don't remember it the same.
Having just recently watched the Candyman, and with the way they tell it differently, made me wonder if people. There'll be a lot of people who'll just go in thinking the way they tell it now, it's like, oh yeah, that's how I remember it being.
Yeah,
and it's like,
no. Well, like I said, I don't even remember the first movie from 30 years ago. I had to watch it again. But it's real cool how they show how just urban legends get changed over time, and they did a big thing with that here. Now, I'm saying that because it might help if you go and watch the old Candyman again, just to brush up on it if you don't remember a whole lot, because they reference it a lot. This is a horror movie, and it takes a long time to get to the horror there. Like I said, they spent a lot of time on the art in the art world before they really get into Candyman, which they drop every now and then with a lot of, again, explaining and exposition. But once they do get to Candyman, I think it's actually, the kills here are brilliant, man. He lives in a mirror world. And we don't see him in real life slicing up people. What we do see are people who, they look like they're being attacked by the Invisible Man. While in some parts, either you see it or you infer that Candyman's just making the gestures in the reflection or a mirror somewhere. I actually thought that even though it's not consistent with how it's done, especially after he goes in and kills people invisibly, and then he kills people invisibly, and then he will show up right after, and it's like, well, you could have just been here and done it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it didn't look as cool. And it still look cool. I mean, it is a creative way to go in and show the kills and the gore in a horror movie without just emphasizing the gore. I mean, there was one scene where they showed somebody, and again, this goes to the creative direction of Dia Acosta, man. They show a kill from afar, and you just see somebody just being ragdolled in midair. And I like the way that they did try to concentrate on making, artistry, making a film more than like, let's just show a bunch of blood. Not that you don't see blood in here. I mean, there's a lot of glorious open wounds just spewing blood out.
Sure. It's very Candyman-like.
Like there's a scene where you see somebody's little feet pick up, and it's just like somebody just poured a bucket of Kool-Aid down.
Right.
Like it's just a Kool-Aid fountain. It's like
like somebody knocked the pitcher over.
And you look at.
Told y'all stop playing in the house.
You look at how the person that they killed is like that body did not hold that much blood in there. So, sometimes it's, again, they do things just for the gore, but it's a little more creative than what I thought it would be looking at it, even when they do emphasize the big open gaping wounds. And there are a couple of scenes of that right there.
I felt like this, as horror movies go, it's a good movie. It's like, prestige horror, as they're calling it now, when you get these art directors who put a lot more money and care into them, like a craft, like craft beer, craft horror. And I think there are moments when it's very good, but I think it falls short of the greatness that it had all the potential for. One thing I feel like the original movie had over this is that with those deaths, they were being investigated. There was like an aftermath of that. And a lot of times people here die, and it's almost like it's kind of forgotten, like nobody really cares.
That was something with me. There are scenes where they report that, yes, something happened. But it's the ones that are closest to characters. They follow. Something they're not consistent with is that they have characters that just walk away from the story, and we walk with them, and it's almost like while we're following them, it's like, wait a minute, you missed the movie, still over here. While we go, wait a minute, hold on, we'll be right with. Hold on, hey y'all, we'll be right back. We follow them for some reason, and then we'll follow this character, and there's a massacre in this movie. And it barely gets touched on. And that's the one that should have got the most attention.
Right. Yeah, stuff that's public. Like, sure, it's on television, but you like, okay, there were people around. Do the cops just like, they show up, they photograph it, and they go like, we don't care about these people. And it's just weird because there should be that sense of like, hey man, something's going to come. That's another force that should be working against the people in here. Some great effects that happen. And you're right, the kills but a lot of the kills are inventive. I felt like I should have been more emotionally involved, and I felt like it kept keeping me at arm's length. It wouldn't settle and let me get into it. It kind of does something that annoys me with Spike Lee, which is like, man, I am all behind the things you want to bring up, but you said you're going to talk about this, and now that I sat down to talk about this, you bringing up this shit and bringing up this and bringing up this. It's like, if we could just focus on one or two things, everybody can come out of this happy.
Sit your ass down.
And I'll get educated and learn and be entertained, and you'll be happy you taught me something.
Man, you mean you weren't emotional from watching him? You mean that didn't make you feel something right there? Shit, that was me trying to keep up with this shit. The fuck y'all going?
It's weird. The movie's only an hour and a half, but it feels longer.
Yeah, well, you know what? It didn't to me. And I'll tell you, you're right. For a lot of characters, I didn't feel anything for it, really. I didn't, because most of the people that are dying, they're either people that we didn't have no connection with. Like I said, there's a scene where we leave. You know the character when we go because you'll forget about the character. Now, the characters in the trailer, you probably thought it had something bigger to do with the movie. It does not. It's just to show Candyman coming in and killing more people. It's almost like in a scene just to have excuses to show more blood.
Right, because you're like, what do they have to do with any of this?
We following this person like they really made some impact on this story. They didn't do a goddamn thing. Didn't do nothing. It's gonna walk in and hijack this. Unless that's another example of white appropriation. A white character come in and just sidetracks the movie, just takes the movie with them. Because they didn't have nothing else to do with it. But I did feel bad for Anthony. Yaya's character, Yata Mantan. I did feel bad for him because that brother, man, for one, just because of his arm, his hand in this movie, his hand starts looking like a fried turkey leg, man.
I was like, now you should go to the doctor by that point.
Yeah, this brother's falling apart. There's even people sitting there. Now this did get to me. I would tell you, Chris Herman, if he was here, he'd be talking about the body horror.
I know.
Chris Herman loved that body. Chris Herman gonna start doing this shit to himself one day. He gonna start peeling his skin back. He's gonna be a black man underneath.
Back.
But this movie, man. Now you want to talk about some horror? Yeah, they have the horror that exists, externally out there with the Candyman. But watching Anthony fall apart, his whole arm turns into a scab.
Yeah,
and that fool just picks at it throughout the movie, and it just made my
honestly, I yelled out, "Stop that!"
Yeah, it made my flesh crawl, man. The sounds with it too. Let me turn this so you can hear it. It really is like peeling skin, like the chicken crust off chicken, man. Like fried chicken crust off the chicken.
Oh my God.
Anthony.
Crispy.
Yeah.
Crunchity. That shit was effective, man. And I felt so bad for him because he was it's like watching The Fly.
Yeah.
That made me feel for him terribly, man. There's even parts where there's a woman trying to eat at a table. She looks at it she's like, hey, you remember? This Asian woman was trying to eat. And she's like, you stop doing that shit. Lost my appetite. As much as I love the direction in this, and I'm kind of maybe not in the same lane, but I'm right there along the same road with you, man. As much as I like the direction in this, I have to say I don't think that it's for everyone. I really do think that this feels very indie, almost art house. And I spent I have to say that it was like that for me so much that I had to actually separate myself from certain things for a while, for certain thoughts, because I was so worried about how this was going to play for the mainstream. And I was so worried about how this was going to play for the black demographic that I had to sit back and say, all right, stop worrying about how it's going to play for them and start concentrating how you like it. But that said, I still have to say that this is one of those movies. Damn, you see that arm right there? Damn.
Yucky.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be eating no gyros for a while. But this is something where I don't know how this is going to play for the mainstream. Like I said, it's going to spend so much time taking its time, which I didn't mind so much, but it definitely is not a mainstream film. Mostly the art house stuff in the independent film comes from the pacing. And in addition to velvet buzzsaw. You know, it reminded me of another art house horror movie out there. Again, just for the pacing of it.
Dangerous. You're a dangerous girl. I am dangerous.
That's Neon Demon. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. No, I remember that. I wouldn't put it with that.
I'm not saying it's the exact same movie, but I do feel like this Neon Demon, because for a little while, you know, you're waiting for the horror to kick in, or you're waiting for them to get to the point with Candyman, and they don't do it. They really are taking their time. And this is another movie where they say it's a horror movie, and this movie really is kind of taking its time to get to what is the horror too, except they don't pull out horror to the very last minute or something.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't connect them, because that made me wait until the very end, and by then it's like it's too late now.
I actually think I don't know.
I remember you. I know you liked it better than I did.
Yeah, I did. I think. It's been so long as I've seen it now. You tell me. I don't know. I think I like this movie, so this is probably why when it comes to this, I don't have a problem with the pacing so much. I love the character building in this. You know, it's the disconnections. It's the movie feeling disjointed because it's stopping so much to hit you with the social points in there. The story is very uneven. So, you know, that's the thing that's really bugging me with this. I wouldn't mind the pacing so much that everything just ran just a little more smooth, but it feels like what it feels like, man, it feels like for people who like this kind of pacing right here. And I'm only saying that it feels like an art house movie because I know black people gonna see this and y'all gonna be coming out talking about, man, this is one of them goddamn Spike Lee joints. You know, this is, man, that wasn't no scary ass movie. That's some damn art movie, man. I know people gonna say this, so I'm just telling you right now what this is. But for those who do like it, it's like riding on a really smooth ride, man, until you hit a pothole. And it just kind of jolts you out the film for a little while. And you just wish that everything could just be smooth driving for the whole way through, but it's not that. Because the points where it is riding kind of easy and smooth, it's nice. And I admire it for what it's doing. It's a very progressive film as far as black cinema goes. It's
indie-ish, but I think they bring up Candyman early enough in the movie, and you get a sense that something's going to happen. So I didn't feel like it was. I don't think that the audience is going to have that big of a problem. For me, this was just a matinee, and I wish it could be more. I was really hoping for higher, but you know, like with all the flaws we brought up and the things, and I wasn't just looking for flaws. It was just like you said, it's a smooth ride, and suddenly there's bumps in the road, and there's big enough bumps that I can't just walk away from it.
I'm right there with you. I might be leaning more toward, I'm not splitting hairs, you know. It's like I might be leaning towards more slightly a higher matinee because I really do. Near the end of it, I was loving the end, except again for some things that didn't make any goddamn sense. Yeah. But for now I was near the end of it, I was like, man, this has been a great build up. This is cool. I love where this went. Too bad it couldn't have gone a little tighter. Yeah, I'm right there with the matinee. This could have achieved a whole lot better with just a little more. If they had made another pass with the script, if somebody was there to make notes saying this don't make no, what does it connect to? Don't need this. All right, maybe you need an hour and a half movie, but make up something. Or I even thought, I said, I know how they could have tied this character in. Could have been very easy. I wish I could tell y'all. They could have tied that character that leaves the movie that you're following is like, where are we going with this? That could have been tied in with just a dialogue. It feels like a script that needed another pass before filming, or maybe another editing job. But yeah, it's a matinee, leaning high, slightly on a high matinee. But yeah, if you give it time, man, I think there is a payoff at the end. For people who love the social issues, for people who love horror.
And people who love Candyman.
And it really does. I would love to see another Candyman because the one thing that they do here that they do right is that they build enough mythos behind and history behind the Candyman where it's like, man, you did build a way to where, and not in some cheap ass way, it was like, Candyman will be back. You know, it's like, or the hook is on the ground, it moves a little bit, you know, nothing like that. It sets up something where it's like, man, I want to know more about this history right here.
Sure.